Greetings everyone and welcome to another halberd.
And rifle.
Ah, yes, it is that type of stream again. Aha! Hello everyone. Wait, is my arms okay? Yes, my arms are okay. That's good. That's good. And how are you going?
Pretty good. How are you going, man?
Yeah, not too bad.
Right.
It's a Sunday, so you know, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes, so Zaf did enjoy the last two noclip documentaries of Final Fantasy XIV, so we're going to resume that, and I may
We're gonna
have
finish the trilogy.
And I have also found this another kind of a history refresher of Eorzea, by Wizards and Wizards, but you know the same guys who ran Kings and Generals.
I didn't watch that.
Kings and Generals is like more historical. Well, Wizards and Warriors are like more fantasy lore instead of fantasy history ish lore. Any case, yeah. Oh wait, Zaf, you are hidden behind your monitor. Hang on, let me just pull you aside. You're becoming a bit like what's oh yeah, that's that old show, Home Improvement, the neighbor who you never see his face. You know the neighbor who you never see his face?
Yeah.
You always see the top of his head, and that's all.
What's covering the rest of his head?
The fence.
Oh, that's right.
Just a high fence.
Hey, Tim.
Oh wait, you are leaning across a bit, Zaf. You are a bit sideways in yours. Hang on. Let's see if I can.
I wonder if it does that because I turn my head.
No, I kind of fixed it. I kind of extended it around a bit. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right. There you go. All right, and my mic's okay.
Nice. Oh God.
What?
My browser crashed.
Oh no.
Discord's still going though. That's fine.
So of course, we are going to start off with the part 3, noclip Final Fantasy XIV doco, called The New World. So
Oh wow, I see what you mean. Kind of leaning backwards a little too. Hang on. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Reset it.
Okay, I got you now.
I did a reset. Yeah.
So now I can shift you across again. I fixed you, and now you fixed yourself, and now it's like, oh,
I mean,
great.
I was like,
oh great.
It looked like I was reclining in my chair. It was strange.
This is. Yeah. Funny enough, if I am looking at my monitor, I am literally looking at my other monitor. I set it up so if I'm looking in this direction, I am literally looking at my other monitor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have like monitors on both sides. So I look at one side and I'm like looking towards you, but I'm looking at my other monitor.
Oh, okay.
And I look at the other side and my head doesn't really turn that way for some reason. But I'm looking at the monitor on the other side, but also the monitor in the overlay, I guess.
I do need a third monitor. And I am thinking maybe.
I thought you had a third one.
No. I do have a third monitor, but it is the old type of monitor. You know, the old type where you need like the pins and all that. But it's like a flat It's still a flat LED. DVI LED monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like I have a new
But it works,
video
though,
card.
right?
Yes. If you have a video card which has those connectors.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
You don't have any DVI ports on your video card.
No, I do not. No.
You could either like get a new monitor or just get like an adapter cable.
I am actually thinking
that translates.
I am actually
HDMI or
I am thinking
or DisplayPort to DVI.
I am thinking of one of those like big purchases is possibly a new monitor, because my main monitor, who's been amazing for me for the last, oh my god, how many years have I had this monitor?
Well, an adapter cable would definitely be cheaper than a new monitor.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like, I need to update I need a new monitor because I mean, I don't need like maybe a OLED, but I just you know, the same size as I have now. I think, what's this, 16, 15? I don't know.
So all my computer monitors are still LCD and LED, but I can vouch for OLED because my Steam Deck is OLED.
Yes.
And OLED is awesome.
So
also my phone is as well.
All phones are OLED now, aren't they? Yeah, all my
Pretty sure.
All phones are OLED. Yeah.
So yeah, OLED looks great.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah. But I see in the sides of my monitor that I have that issue where I need to replace this monitor. Or not replace, I do need to replace my main monitor. If I'm gonna have a third monitor, I want my secondary monitor here, which is a cheap Dell monitor, to be my third monitor. I want my main monitor now to be my second monitor, and my new monitor to be my main monitor.
There is one thing that scares me about OLED.
What?
And I think it scares a lot of people. It's the burn-in.
Oh, is it acceptable for burning? I have my monitors
not burning, but burn-in, image burning.
Yeah, image burning. I have my monitor on all the time.
Yeah, so that's when like you have like static elements on your monitor, like your Windows taskbar, or like things that are always there in that particular position.
Oh no.
Yeah. But that happens after like years, I think.
Oh. Okay.
I'm not sure exactly how many years, but maybe like 2 or 3 years.
How many years has
generally
OLED been
speaking
around?
Like a decade now, I think.
Okay.
More than a decade.
I mean, but used commonly.
Yeah, probably a decade it's been mainstream.
Okay. So
before like 2015, it was more of an, I'd say, enthusiast technology.
Yeah, because when things improve and you see that issue get, worked on. Yeah.
It's still an issue, but maybe it's gotten better.
But yeah,
like you still see people talking about OLED burning. Damn it, OLED burning. Damn it. Damn that OLED burning, man.
Oh my god. Yeah, so I mean
it's like I don't know if you remember, but there was a controversial bit of controversy with the Nintendo Switch joysticks having drift. Like not long after purchase. Not the 2, not Switch 2, but the original Switch. But that's like, well, same technology is used in other controllers like PlayStation controllers and Xbox and that, but it was for some reason a bigger issue on Switch. Like the issue presented itself more quickly after purchase.
Okay. Right, well. Yeah. Oh, you know that Japanese game, the, wait, hang on, the, what do you call it? The Japanese game...
Hello, Life?
Wagotabe?
I have not heard of that one, no.
No, the one that I've been playing a bit. What did you say before?
Oh.
What did you say before?
I said I have not heard of it.
Oh, I mean, you said...
I said I have not heard of it.
Oh. No, I mean, you said something
But,
before that.
I don't recall that.
Wagotabe. So no, you said something before. But Wagotabe.
Yeah, I remember the game now.
I liked it so much. In fact, I bought it for my phone.
You bought it for your phone?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't even know it has a port for the phone.
It does, and you can share data between your phone. So I can like play it on a PC. Wait. And then...
So I mean you can share your save?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Cross-platform save?
Yes,
nice.
yes. It actually works kind of well on my phone.
Yeah?
Yeah. So it's pretty good. Very rarely do I buy...
Speaking of... Sorry, go on.
Oh, very rarely do I get stuff on my phone. I thought it's one of those purchases where it's like, yeah, I can see myself, because I don't see this as a game more than like a learning application, so I use it as a learning application.
Yeah, speaking of gaming on phones, there's apparently a few projects out there, like open source project, well, most of them open source, that allow you to run PC games on Android phones. And it's you get mixed results, you know.
Depends what game. Depends if
as with anything that involves like
mouse
translation layers of some sort.
Yeah. I can see that.
So generally, people have been playing games that require a controller or compatible with the controller.
Okay.
And so, with this app, you can get like a virtual controller on your screen.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just like the touch control on that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the same for what when the Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 14 mobile came out, and yeah.
Anyway, one of the most popular games people have been playing with this is Hollow Knight Silksong.
What?
Because it's like it's one of the games that has the most, like, the best compatibility with one of them's called Game Native.
I mean, I guess those type of games it would. Yeah. Platformers it would definitely.
Oh yeah, platformers, because
yeah. It's just simple controls. It's just simple.
It's simple controls, and like it's not too demanding. I mean, on some of the best devices, people get like 60 frames a second. So performance is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Depending on the game, of course.
Of course. So, any case, shall we begin this watch party? So I've got the thing up as well. The link to the original video is down below, so if you want to watch along with that as well, feel free to do so. Remember to put, so I'm at 000, remember to put on subtitles, Japanese speakers.
Yeah.
I will put down the music. And I think we're ready. Yeah, I think we are ready. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Ready? In 3, 2, 1, go. 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 God damn it, it's not working because I don't have it.
It's not. Oh, there it goes. Mine wasn't working for a couple of seconds either.
Okay. Oh my god, what resolution is this? There we go, that's better. Wait, is this showing up? Hang on. There, that's better.
Hello and welcome to the final part of our fantastical tale. We sit on the eve of the rebirth of Square Enix's new world, almost exactly 3 years
you have a few
after
seconds
the
behind me.
original catastrophic launch.
I mean,
Eorzea
in
was
front of
going
me.
to be getting a second chance.
Yeah.
But this time, everybody
Want
knew
to sync?
it wasn't
Synchronize.
Yeah, can you just quickly pause and resume yours?
That's pause and resume. Okay.
Yeah.
Once Dalamud had struck, Yoshida-san moved the 1.x patch team into the main team working on A Realm Reborn, taking lessons from contemporary MMOs, feedback from players over the 1.x phase, and elements that worked from the original version. They crafted a modern Final Fantasy XIV set in a vibrant world that reflected the energy of the franchise.
Oh, this is the
and for
benchmark.
Yoshida-san and some other members of the team, this was going to be a very public thing, as they took the short train ride from the office in Shinjuku to Shibuya to take part in a very special launch event.
その渋谷のイベントへ向かうために朝電車に乗ってた。で、少しリハーサルを当然やらなきゃいけないので、まあ少し。
Oh, hello, Tailgater.
あ、いよいよ。
How's it going?
How's it going?
Yeah.
電車に。
We're doing a watch party.
ちょうどそのドアの近く
So
に
yeah,
立
yeah.
ってたんですよ。そしたらそのドアの僕は右側に立ってたんだけど、左側に立っていた
Pretty good myself.
多分大学生ぐらいだと思うんだけど、緑の綺麗な
Just eat my lunch as we watch this documentary.
僕のとこに寄ってきて、
I ate mine too fast.
小声で
I'm already finished mine.
Well,
I bought
本当に
lunch
発
for
売おめ
this.
でとうございますってプレイヤーですって言われたんですよ。で、そんな状況でまあそのイベントを始めて、で、まあみんなでそのまあここまで来る話をまあステージでしていて、
oh, NASCAR, nice.
まあマイクが当たって話をしようとしたら、その朝そう言われたことをちょっと思い出しちゃって、いやいろいろあったなって思ったら、
頑張れ。
言葉に詰まっちゃった瞬間にその来てたプレイヤーたち、お客さんたちがこう頑張れって言われちゃって、もう昨日もちょっと話したように MMO って発売してもそれがゴールじゃない。
Oh, you won both races. Oh,
なんかあんまり
great.
干渉
Nice,
しちゃってる
nice.
暇なんて本来ないんだけど、
Yeah, what were you racing?
思わずこうプレイヤーにこう頑張れって言われたせいで、
Yeah, the
Like a big
audience cheering.
恥ずかしかったですね。
運営を続けていこうと思います。本当にありがとうございます。そしてこれからもどうぞよろしくお願いします。
Oh man, the PlayStation. Oh, that's right. The PlayStation 3 died for Shadowbringers. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they couldn't afford another failure.
IGN.
Oh, IGN. I don't
Man.
watch these. I don't know. I don't know.
IGN's still around.
Realm Reborn is a great MMORPG experience on both PC and PlayStation 3. Grounded in tradition and learning from the lessons of the games that preceded it, it thrives on the strengths of its excitingly varied and flexible
Oh, that's
class
right.
system and highly mobile content.
IGN own Humble Bundle now.
But you still might
Not
have
sponsored.
to contend with login errors. But this is, by and large, a very
But I feel like after they
massive
bought it,
multiplayer game.
Humble Bundle got
Lots
worse.
of stuff to do, gorgeous vistas to behold, and lots of adorable narrative touches.
The challenge ahead for Square is to achieve the delicate balance of questing, dungeons, and fates for the second half of the leveling process, as well as it has the first. But considering the stunning reversal of fortune that Square has achieved here,
Grindy fates.
anything is possible.
So what was it like then on your
Grindy fates is a bad thing.
You know, years of working on this game, having the launch, basically being required to work on 2 separate games at the same time, patching one and then building an entirely new one, almost in secret for a large part of it, to then see, like, what was it like reading reviews and reading message boards when people were like, oh fuck, they did it?
It was, yeah, I mean, we were just as surprised.
Oh, NASCAR Heat 5.
Not as surprised because, again, it was definitely different. You know, in those months before releasing the original, I mean, I knew that the game wasn't in good shape, and so it's kind of, you're lying to yourself, trying to say, no, this is going to be good. They're going to like this part. They're going to like this part. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But with A Realm Reborn, playing, it's like, this is a really good game. I mean, you're playing it, like, enjoying it. You know, but there's still that little bit in the back of your mind that's like, you know, and it's what we were told, is that once the game has been reviewed, even if you try to rebuild it, everyone's going to remember the old. They're not going to look at the new. And Metacritic never forgets. When 14 came out, the original, and it was, maybe people were like, okay, I think, you know, I'm a hardcore offline Final Fantasy guy, but I'll try out this new one. But then, okay, it's terrible. See, I knew it. It's terrible. They're not going to want to come back for a second time. It's like, no, I already played that. It was terrible. And so there was just this feeling that even if it's a really great game, no one's going to play it. They're just going to like brush it off because it's the bad Final Fantasy Online that I tried, you know, in beta and it sucked, so I'm not going to play it anymore. And so yeah, we were afraid of that. But then, wow, it was just, I mean, servers breaking on, not breaking, but like servers getting so packed with people in those first few days, and then seeing the reviews come in, and you know, they saved, and then they start saying things like, you know, you saved the franchise, and you know, you saved the series, and I don't know, remembering what it was like, you know, at their launch of 1.0, and then just being able to, because who gets to re-experience a bad launch? It's something you don't get in the game industry. And
especially in MMOs.
And we did, and it was a great experience to be able to say, it was just that vindication of like all of that extra work that we had put in. It was what Yoshida-san had promised us. If we worked hard and we did this right, that in a year and a half's time, you know, we can do this. And a lot of people didn't believe him, and you know, a normal person probably wouldn't believe him. But I mean, maybe that's why we were able to do it, because all of the abnormals remained and made something that was, you know, literally impossible happen.
やっぱりサーバーがあまりにもその
Holy hell.
その遊べない
So full.
せっかくパッケージをお金を出して買ってきたのにゲームが遊べないとは何事だ、まあ、オンラインゲームだから当然サーバーに繋がらないと遊べないので、なんか評価とか以前の問題でその買ってもらったのに遊べない状況を作ってること自体
Yeah,
が
gotta scale up their
僕にとっては
their
まあ
servers.
ショック、まあ、あんなに来るとはもちろん思ってなかったっていうのも要因ですけど、だから評価云々の前にまずちゃんとゲームに接続して遊べるようにしなきゃっていうことばっかりが当時の1ヶ月半ぐらい出荷を停止したりとか販売を停止したりとか、それしか全然覚えてないですね。
With most other genres, this would be the part of the story where we fade to black and roll credits, but such luxuries don't exist in the world of massively multiplayer online games. In fact, after the release of A Realm Reborn, or 2.0 as they call it internally, the team applied the same content-rich patching schedule they had undertaken with 1.0, releasing a significant 2.x patch to the game every 3 to 4 months. Over the next 2 years, these patches progressed the story of ARR, added in epic raids and new modes such as 72-player PvP battles. But just like before, while the team was working on these 2.x patches, they were concurrently building an updated version of the game, the first expansion pack, Heavensward.
Oh geez, 2014.
10月、9月、10月ぐらいかな、開発チームにも吉田さん申請したら楽になるって言ってませんでしたっけってバカ MMO これだけ巨大な規模の MMO は最初のエクスパンションパック出すところまでがスタートダッシュなんだよって言ってごめんねって。
Well, I mean, what was in our minds was, you know, not having another letdown. Don't take for granted that the rebuild was a success. We can't just expect our users to say, oh, they're going to release expansion so we can do whatever we want and doesn't matter, they'll buy it, ha ha ha. You know, there was none of that sense. One good thing that came out of the failed launch is that it's instilled into, you know, the developers, all of the developers' minds that, you know, we have to always strive to be better. We can't, you know, let our guard down. It's in everyone's mind, and it's always lurking back there. We don't want to repeat that, and because of that, everyone is like always on the top of their game.
Is that still there even now? Because it's been 3.5 years.
Well, I mean, yeah, the old guard, yes, we all have that. We all have that. But it's not all the old guard anymore. People have moved off onto other projects. Some people have left the company to go freelance, you know, explore new opportunities. A lot of new people have
Wow, 200 laps.
And so
that must have taken some time.
You know, what happened in 1.0.
Oh,
because they
you
weren't
summer
there.
children.
That's right, exactly. And you know, us old timers can tell them, well, back in my day, we did it. And they'll be like, yeah, okay, whatever. And you know, sometimes it does feel like that. There's always the chance that, you know, you can just get too full of yourself and not do 100%, not learn from your mistakes, and that, you know, the community was like, no, we're done. And, you know, we were lucky to be given a second chance. We were really lucky to have that second chance actually succeed. I don't know, third time, I don't know if I want to, you know, press my luck any further. It's not a good, fun situation to be in. The things that I've learned over these past 7-8 years working on 11, the original and the new and the expansions, is something that I'm going to carry with me to all future projects, as it will with, I mean, all of the other devs that have done that. A piece of that Final Fantasy XIV 1.0, a piece of that, you know, ARR and the expansions will be with all of them, and you know, hopefully they'll be able to use that in all their future projects.
Heavensward was another win for the team. Critically praised and loved by the community, it helped push cumulative subscriptions for the game beyond 5 million. In fact, the amount of players in Eorzea has kept rising.
当然上がり下がりはあります。上がり下がりをしながら少しずつ右へ上がっていくっていうのが、まあ、あんまり他の MMO ではない曲線なのかもしれないですけど、とにかくゲームデザインでずっとこのファイナルファンタジー14というゲームをプレイし続けていなければついていけなくなるとか、その一度やめてしまったら戻れないっていう風に絶対にならないようにっていうのが14のゲームデザインの根幹にある。なぜなら今本当にみんな忙しい。一つのゲームだけになんだろう、毎日毎日
sometimes it's not possible.
ログインし続けられるわけじゃない。それはもともと MMO が大好きな僕ですらそうなので、そう考えた時に遊びたい時に遊んで、メジャーアップデートが来たら一気に遊んで、少し落ち着いて他のゲームを遊んだり、家族サービスをしたり、 でまたメジャーが来たらそれでいいと思ってるし、これからの MMO はそうじゃないと多分やっていけない。でやっぱり大きくゲーム1本分の新しい体験が来た時、全員集合して最新のファイナルファンタジーをプレイしてもらいたい。だからそれが基本ベースにあるので、やっぱりそのパッチの間で上がり下がりはする。ただ評判を聞いてずっと増え続けていくっていうのが理想だと思ってるし、14はそれでやれてきてるので、ただもっともっと遊んでほしい、たくさんの人にと思ってるので、チャレンジをまだまだ続けたいとは思ってます。
The latest expansion pack, Stormblood, comes hot on the heels of 2 years worth of 3.x patches, which have added fresh storylines and features to Heavensward. With it comes increased level caps, new dungeons, jobs, raids, zones, and some changes to the battle system. Stormblood will also mark the end of the game's lifetime on the PlayStation 3, but of course in the intervening years, the team has since launched the game on the PlayStation 4. Final Fantasy XIV had been a financial disaster for Square Enix.
I guess more recently the PS5 as well.
The 1.x era,
Yes,
when the company poured significant funds and trust into the team tasked with its rebirth. The importance of this franchise to the company is mirrored by its importance
It's on
to
the
its players,
PS5.
and of course the developers.
Yeah.
This is a group of people who have dedicated years into ensuring that this game came back from the dead. Yoshida-san says he only needs about 4 hours sleep a night. I asked him about his social life. He says he doesn't really remember anything except work. He speaks fondly of those players that stuck with the team, those warriors of light that were saved at the end of 1.0. His respect for fans of this game and all Final Fantasy fans is clear to see. The realm of Eorzea is totally different now. A bustling, vibrant place full of stories, quests and adventurers. A world expanded upon even more with the release of Stormblood. But the old world, the story of 1.0, the fall of Dalamud and the people who survived the cataclysm will always live on. Those who were there, be them player or developer, will forever be bound together by that experience.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of a lot of games will create, these myths for their games, we have a myth that actually happened, but because it happened so long ago and only a few people saw it, most of the new players now, they look at back and it's like, did it really happen?
Yeah.
What is this battle with the White Raven and Riven Road?
And
it was just this grand battle, all different levels and this, dimensional rifts, and it sounds like an actual myth, but it's not just a story we made up for this, it's actually happened. And as the game progresses and new players come on, I mean, it's further and further back in history that this really cool thing happened. And so, I mean, that visual works cutscene, I remember watching it and just like, goosebumps all over. I mean, I'm watching with all of these other, like
Fascinating. What did I miss?
And, the director of the works, and we're all sitting there and they're all watching.
Not much.
Like, I got like tear in my eyes. Yeah, it's dust, and I mean, it was that powerful because it kind of encompassed not only what the character went through, it was an image of what we as developers had done as well. At the beginning, we're all, let's do this. It's going to be an adventure. We're like that first cutscene where, with the party that goes out and they have their guild leave and they go out and they fight the Morble, and that's us at the beginning. And then the release hits you and you're down. I mean, then you have that cutscene where it's just like everyone's working together to make something new, and then it fails, but no, it didn't fail, and you're just, and all of the memories of the past years, the good and the bad, kind of all come together, and just so overwhelming. And that's pretty much the reaction then when we finally released it to the public that we got. I mean, so many people, I just remember the forums, checking out the forums that day. I mean, people were just like, I've been in tears all day, I've watched it 10 times. And to see that, that everyone felt the same way. It wasn't just the development team, it's that you have this hardcore group of very, very loyal fans that they believed in the game, we believed in the game, we stuck together, we were able to build this new thing that's not just for us, but it's opening up the doors for a whole new audience. But remember, we were there first. We're the ones that that stood by it, and we're the ones that did this. And they have the pride in that. Those players, those warriors of light that were
This is how
Yoshida-san,
I said teleported in.
We'll always talk about those people that support us. We couldn't have
This
done
is
it.
how
So cliche. Oh, we couldn't have done it.
those
without your
players
support.
teleported in.
Literally, we could not have done it.
True.
Literally, we could not have done it. I mean, if those people hadn't remained, we just would like, no, let's forget it. We're not going to do it. We wouldn't have put as much effort in. It would have just been, okay, yeah, whatever, that's just free to play, you know.
Back when, you know, 1.0 came out, and could you have imagined that 3-4 years later you'd be in a fan event with thousands of people in Germany?
No, I don't really imagine that. Yeah, I mean, one day, I mean, yeah, we were, I mean, always saying one day we want to run a big fun event.
Oh
We
yeah,
were
FanFest.
actually dreaming to have a huge fun festival in the future at that time, but actually, yeah, we made it. So yeah, that was really great.
Some dreams come true.
Yes, yes.
まあただ自分スクエア長いんですけれども、あんまり変な言い方ですけど、こう会社に対して帰属意識というか、なんかそこはあまりなくてですね、やっぱりゲーム作るって誰と一緒に作るかがすごく大切で、そこが一番重要だなと思っているんで、今回のプロジェクトは本当に組んでみたいというスタッフと組んで、すごく大きなことがやれて、すごい楽しかったし楽しいですねって感じではい。
まあ強調したいことがあるとすれば、その初日に 1.0 の話をしてましたけど、誰か一人そのもしくはデベロップメントチームがということではなくて、やっぱり今でも本当に会社自体の大きな過ちが、その全ての悪い部分がファイナルファンタジー14で出てしまったっていう、そのまあそれはリリースって意味のデータではなくて、それが全て爆発したのがファイナルファンタジー14のオリジナルバージョンだったんじゃないかって本当に強く思ってるので、でも今そのまあ14のリバンプを会社全体としてやってリリースできて、スクエニは少しずつ変わってきたと思ってるし、もっと変わらなきゃいけないと思ってる。
15 was oh my god.
もしかすると少し安心してる人たちも今いるのかもしれない。
What about Final Fantasy 13 though? Does that exist?
Yeah, I have 13.
Oh, okay.
なんかそのあたりがうまく
I've never heard of it.
And 13 too.
いいなと思い
And
ます。
13, the other
これは
13 side
なんだろう、
games.
スクエアエニックスっていう会社が作るゲームに期待してもらってる人が世界中にたくさんいると思うんですけど、
But it's all
僕もそうだったから、
yeah.
でもまだまだ
It's
スクエアエニックスってこのレベルじゃないじゃん、もっと上いけるじゃんって思ってくれてるはずなので、そのためにはもっと変わらなきゃいけないし、チャレンジもしなきゃいけないと思ってる。そういった要素も今回のそのお話でうまく伝わってくれると嬉しいかなとは思います。僕らはそういうつもりでやってますっていうメッセージが少しでも、ね、出ていけばいいなとは。プレイヤーの皆さんと会社が望めばそうなってると思いますし、プレイヤーの皆さんや会社が他のゲームを作れって望んでくれれば他のゲーム作ってるかもしれないですし、両方一緒に同時にやってるかもしれないし僕は少なくともスクエアエニックスって今会社の、スタッフで自分の会社なわけではないので、やっぱプレイヤーの皆さん、ファンの皆さんがスクエアエニックスに何を期待するのかっていうのを会社がどう考えるかだと僕は思ってるんで、まあ、もちろん自分で作ってみたいゲームがないわけじゃもちろんないですけど、まあ、好きなものを作りたいならね、会社辞めて自分で会社作って作ればって思っちゃうんで、まあ望まれる限りは頑張ろうと思いますけど、ただそろそろね、プロデューサーとディレクターのどっちかは誰かやってくんねえかなって思いますけどね。
Interesting.
The tale of the death and rebirth of Final Fantasy XIV Online is a cautionary tale in corporate hubris. It's a story about the power of humility, respect, and unity. A fun story for those of us who knew nothing about it, cherished times for those who were fortunate enough to be there when it all happened, and a wonderful reminder of something we come across so often in life, the idea that reality can often be even more amazing than the fantasy.
Yay!
Oh, it's finished.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's man, it's mass.
I wonder what. I mean, Yoshi talked about like thinking about finding someone to take his position at Granix and start his own company.
That's. I think now he should be changed his mind a few times.
Oh really?
He was during Endwalker. I think he was on the board of directors, and now he's not. He left the board of directors. I think.
So anyway, I wonder what a game like if Yoshi P started his own company, I wonder what a game created by that company
something
would look
similar
like.
to 16.
You think?
16. He is the director of 16.
Or something entirely new.
Yeah, but he wanted to make a Final Fantasy action Final Fantasy. So that was 6.
I mean, being the producer or the director is different than being the CEO.
Yeah.
If he's like the CEO, he can he has more control. He can make more decisions.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that.
Okay. So that was by noclip. Yeah, man. So that kind of explains, the rise, the fall and rise. All that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think of all that stuff?
Pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when I started. I mean, those few months after A Realm Reborn must be madness, because it was like all those smaller I think that's because.
And they must have started like work on Havensword immediately after Realm Reborn released.
Yeah, no, they were like making extra content and all that stuff for it, and then Heavensward, I think. Because,
oh really? They said they were really busy.
Yeah. So all the hard difficulties and all that, all that. So that's
I mean, they're still releasing patches for Dawn Trail, right? Well, probably simultaneously developing the next expansion.
Yes.
So yeah, they're probably multitasking like that.
But I think we're kind of like halfway. Yeah, I think we're kind of like halfway through the patch cycles. So yeah, another 8 months? Who knows? Until the next.
2 AI cars ran out of gas in the first race. Oh.
Oh wow. Yeah. So. Yeah. It's interesting. Right. So we have the one after as well. This one is a bit of a lore into Eorzea, Zaf. So this one is the Grand History of Eorzea.
Yeah, I need to pull this up. Hang on. Okay.
You don't need subs for this, it's all in English. So.
Nice.
And it shows
From
maps and all that
000.
stuff. So, yeah, so you can see everything in context. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so when you're ready for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ready? Ready?
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
start it.
Alright. Let me just tone down the music.
Oh, and I ran out of gas as soon as I crossed the finish line. See, this reminds me of I think it's called a Horizon Chase Turbo. It's a retro, so kind of like a retro style racing game with like 80s vibes. But anyway, you can run out of gas in that game too. Especially if you're not picking up the gas as you race. There's like gas pickups that you can run into, and it tops your car up.
Okay, so the links to
Yeah.
So the links to this video is below in the description. So please
yes.
watch that. Please, if you're watching alongside, watch the original alongside us. You don't want to be watching this tiny screen. We're just here to react to it.
Yeah, let me get the link for that one as well.
Should I blur this
Up in the
one?
chat.
Since this is a YouTube video.
I mean, the last one was a YouTube video too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but a lot of people were literally like, sharing it and all that stuff. So I mean, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what did you feel is comfortable, man?
Because I don't want to take away. I want people to, hey, we're gonna react to this, but look down here. But
True.
But maybe that's only for films and that stuff. If this is a YouTube thing, then I don't know. We'll see. We have to make sure we have to comment a bit on it as well.
And here's the link for you, Twitch. Pin that up there. Okay.
Yeah, so it is. Let me just hide. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So this one I found, and it's one of those ones where it's like, okay, I'll play this on the side as I work on stuff, and then I ended up watching this more than what I was doing.
Oh wow.
So yeah, this covers about 3 videos all mashed together.
Okay.
By Wizards and Warriors. And yeah, so we're gonna play it all here. I will leave a sound on and all that stuff, I think, as well. Yeah. Alright, ready?
Ready.
And go. Oh man, oh my god, it's hang on.
Too loud?
No, for quality.
In the world of Final Fantasy XIV,
right.
many a person will get the chance to explore a world filled with magic, technology, and more. But the world that is explored wasn't always the same. In fact, the land of Eorzea has been built up and destroyed many times over, until it became what it is now. If ever you were curious to know how all this history came to be, then you've come to the right place. Welcome, adventurer, to the Wizards and Warriors' complete collection of Eorzean history. From the gilded halls of an advanced empire, all the way to the modern age, left in the wake of a dragon's wrath, you'll leave today with an understanding of how and why this world has changed so much over the course of each astral era and umbral calamity. So let us begin with one of the most powerful civilizations that Eorzea had ever known, the Allegan Empire. Their power stemmed from their technology, and as you might guess, so...
Oh wait, this is an ad.
Technology can
I
be
know
used
this
to improve
sound.
your life or used against you to make it miserable. And what the Allagans
Oh,
lacked
yeah.
was a sensible philosophy of safeguards like
Wait,
voodoo.
what?
After all, we
Oh,
have
God.
useful
No.
tools.
Nerd.
Sponsor NordVPN with a special
Have
offer
you-
at
Of course.
nordvpn.com/wizardsandwarriors.
Of course.
The world of
Mhm.
Eorzea was changed by the coming of technology under the Allagans, whose devices allowed them to conquer the world. Today, there are those who are turning their technology against you because your life is exposed to the internet. And
Are we
that's
still
where
in
a
an
single
ad?
fraction of a
I
second
can't
is all
tell.
it takes to
Oh,
see
there it
your
is.
identity, wealth, and health
So-
completed. With NordVPN, your internet use is encrypted and secure, acting like a tank that draws all the aggro from you and leaves
Oh,
enemies without a hope.
like a tank, huh?
It's extremely easy to use too, enabling encryption, threat protection against malware, and moving your
Oh my
IP across the
God,
globe,
it's
all with
basically-
single clicks. That means you get more control, more safety, more region-locked content, and less chance of your immense power leading to your ultimate downfall. Which is nice. Get started with NordVPN at nordvpn.com/wizardsandwarriors, where if you use our code WizardsWarriors, you'll get 4 free months on top of a 2-year plan. And
This
we
is
also
out. I
offer a
think this is
30-day
out.
money-back
I
guarantee,
don't.
So you can try it all out risk-free.
I think this might be
That's
out of date. This.
nordvpn.com/wizardsandwarriors and code WizardsWarriors.
I don't know if it's still valid, but.
We begin our journey on a world called Hydaelyn. This
Here we
planet
go.
gained its name from a goddess whose voice could be heard echoing from the heart of the world. Here there are countless varieties of monsters and people, with the most common mortal races of man being known as the adaptable Hyr, honorable Elizan, clever Lalafell, rugged Rogadin, traditional Mikote, proud Ora, mystical Viera, and respectable Hrothgar. These races and their various cultures make up the bulk of the world's population and spearhead most historic events.
Yeah.
But our story
And then
brings
there's the
us to
Galleons.
Eorzea, a land located on the continent of Aldenard. This place is sacred, as energy, called Aether, which is responsible for creating life and magic, is denser here than anywhere else in the world.
That's right.
It's within this land that the Allagans would eventually emerge. The history of this empire begins in the scorching heat of the Third Umbral Calamity, also known as the Calamity of Fire. The calamities are cataclysmic events that cover every inch of the planet for years, with every age afterwards being called an astral era. The first calamity was that of wind, scarring the world with constant tornadoes and hurricanes. The second was that of lightning, as massive bolts of electricity would fall like rain. This, the third calamity, saw the entire world plagued by stifling heat. Crops withered and died, lakes dried up, and it felt as if the entire world had become akin to a desert. The various races and cultures that populated the world at this point were very superstitious, believing that the sun itself was punishing them for trying to stand at the side of gods through the creation of magic and sorcery in the second astral era. While the third umbral calamity would humble the survivors of this tragedy, they became wary of the gods. So if the use of spellcraft to emulate the divine was forbidden, then they'd attempt to uplift themselves through the hands of man alone. Eventually, the heat of the third calamity subsided, allowing the world to return to normal. This gave way to the third astral era, and an age of science had begun. The races of Eorzea that had abandoned the excessive worship of gods found that they had more time to spend on things like scientific research. No longer were people simply concerned with what magic could do for them. Instead, they developed various tools and devices that could use the energy of Aether. Most commonly, this condensed energy is seen as elemental crystals, and they found ways to use them to power a variety of devices. This only fueled their passion for discovery, as practices like chemistry began to emerge as well.
Oh yeah, alchemists.
But amongst all the people trying to create the next best thing, stood a man who would eventually control most of the world. The great and powerful Xande took to the field. Xande was a man of mystery. He appeared within Eorzea seemingly out of nowhere, but when he arrived, everyone saw him as a genius. His knowledge of both magic and the material surpassed what many could imagine. This vast understanding of the world, combined with his charismatic personality, made people flock to him in droves, eager to work alongside or learn from him. As groups of followers began to grow into massive organizations, Xanday's influence started to birth a new nation. The culture of this budding society was rich with diversity, as he welcomed scientists, mages, priests and scholars from all over Eorzea. In time, the magical and scientific development of his people couldn't be matched, and shortly after, the nation of Alag was officially created. Being the most advanced nation to rise in the wake of the Third Umbral Calamity, Xanday and his forces were unmatched. By making exclusive use of both technological might and battle mages, their nation's military was already a force to be reckoned with. Xanday would spread his nation's influence throughout the entirety of Eorzea, hoping to bring all of its people under one unified roof. The various tribes and small towns across
Singapore's now.
Okay. That's what the Gaulian Empire is trying to do.
Well, it's an empire. Of course, it's an empire.
Bring all the people of Eorzea under one roof, under one rule.
That's what empire is. Yes. Okay, resuming in 3, 2, 1, go.
What minute did you pause at?
I'm now at 8 seconds past 8. I mean past 7.
Oh, same here. 8 seconds past 7. Yeah.
3, 2, 1, resume.
It was with shows of strength that Xanday encouraged many people to peacefully surrender to his growing country. Upon realizing the benefits of becoming one with the nation of Alag, most conceded. Those few groups that refused to back down without a fight were overwhelmed and made part of his nation regardless. After annexing large sections of Eorzea, Xanday crowned himself emperor, and so began the years of the mighty Alagan Empire. Over time, Xanday would start to promote the wisest and most powerful mages in his country to stand as military leaders and overseers of scientific development. This proved to be the best possible move, as embracing magic instead of shunning it made sure the minds of his followers were open and curious instead of short-sighted and paranoid. Eventually, a breakthrough was made as the spellweavers and engineers began to discover ways to hybridize magic with technology. With the right enchantments, siege weapons would not only shoot further, but they would strike harder as well. Similarly, cranes made to lift heavy objects were pushed 10 times past their normal weight limits with these advancements. This made the minds of creative individuals run wild, wondering how far they could push the bounds of magic and physics. The fusion of spells and science was steadily applied to everything, from construction and agriculture to military and medicine. This became its own unique field of development and was officially dubbed aetherochemistry. It's on the foundations of aetherochemistry that the Alagan Empire would grow into a paradise. With this new revolutionary field of research, their society was finally without equal, and thus began the Alagan's Golden Age. At the peak of his time as emperor, Xanday had conquered all of Eorzea, and the glory of his country was there for all to see. But no man lives forever, not even the emperor. Xanday knew that in order to maintain the empire's strength after his death, a strict set of rules and expectations needed to be set in place. So it was that his direct descendants would follow his example even after his passing. These new emperors would do as their founder demanded, and continue the expansion of their country across all 3 of the great continents. Once the rest of Aldenard was secured, it would only be a matter of time as they conquered the rest of Ilsabard and Othard. Because of the power brought on by aetherochemistry, no other nation on the 3 great continents could stand up to the Empire for long. Gradually, all of them would live under the Alagan flag. With no enemy that
for the Gaulian Empire, this is but a pipe dream.
The Empire entered a time of peace that would ultimately benefit everyone. Even the conquered nations were able to partake of the benefits that came with imperial rule. Advanced science and medicine saw their people prosper like they never had before, and all living within the 3 continents would enjoy this peace for generations. They even began crafting various machines that would make their day-to-day lives even easier. One such creation was the Circus Tower, known by its more common name, the Crystal Tower. This gigantic magical battery stood as a testament to what mortal men are truly capable of when given the chance, and the clean energy this tower provided the Empire would benefit the lives of countless people.
Yeah.
However, the Allagan Empire would soon realize that paradise isn't truly everything you'd hope it is. After many generations, the Allagan people no longer knew the true meaning of things like pain, suffering, and trauma. They could have almost anything they wanted and live long, carefree lives thanks to their medicine and technology. But without any threats to overcome or strife to measure against their joy, their happiness steadily became hollow. People became lazier and content to indulge in selfish pleasures, whilst their machines did most of the day-to-day work for them. The Allagans quite literally became bored with life. As such, their society began to spoil and fester like an infection. Things like reason, empathy, and even love started to disappear as the Allagan people became numb to their own existence. But the worst part arose when inflicting horrors upon their fellow man became a source of entertainment. The Allagan Empire was now fully corrupt, spoiled by its own glory. Only a handful of intellectual groups remained. They could still think rationally about the future of their country, and what they saw on the horizon was a complete societal collapse. As they debated on how to correct the direction of their failing empire, one man would take it upon himself to do just that and more, the scientist Amon. He had observed the empire's fall from grace with disgust, and he saw the selfish whims of its people as ugly blemishes in need of fixing. He came to the realization that what the Empire needed wasn't a new invention, but a strong leader. Though instead of waiting for one such person to arise, Amon would create one. In fact, he would recreate the greatest leader in Allagan history. He would bring back Emperor Xande. After unethical experiments that resulted in the altered minds and bodies of his colleagues, Amon began the process of cloning Xande. But this time he wouldn't live a mortal life. Amon would give Xande an immortal body so that he might rule for all eternity. Eventually he succeeded, and Emperor Xande walked the earth once more. After a few days of educating Xande on everything that had happened in his absence, the Emperor rolled his eyes in annoyance and decided to get to work immediately. He began by assassinating the current Allagan Emperor, as well as executing anyone that dared to stand in his way. Most Allagan people had become so powerless that none could stand up to his might. After seizing power, Xande declared the 3 great continents was not enough for his empire, so they were going to liberate a massive continent.
Gonna go have a great night, and sorry for not staying longer. It's alright, it's fine.
As Amon predicted,
it's fine,
the fear
Gator.
of Xande's wrath had injected pain back into the
I'll
hearts
see you
of the
next
Allagan
time.
people, and their empire began to mobilize.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Ages past. With pride, Amon stood by Xande's side as the Empire began moving their military might towards the shores of Mericidia. Societies that lived alongside dragons had long since endured here, and the dragon's leader, Dawnworm Bahamut, would meet the Empire on the fields of battle. His might held them back for the longest time, but after creating fiendish chimeras to outnumber and overpower him, Bahamut would die and leave Mericidia defenseless. However, the people would not take this lying down, and summoned godlike entities called primals to push back the Empire's forces. As living things born from raw aether and the unflinching faith of those that summoned them, the primals were a force that the Empire had trouble overcoming.
This is what happens when you invade Australia. This is what happens.
As his military would devise creative ways to outmaneuver and subdue these would-be gods. The primals would fall and be captured by the Empire, preventing more summoning. Yet the climax of this war would only happen when an image of Dawnworm Bahamut would be summoned into the form of a primal. This new primal Bahamut would become the greatest threat to the Empire's crusade. But instead of worrying about casualties, Xande's madness began to show as he enjoyed the back and forth this war had created. Like a massive game of chess with people's lives on the board, he kept playing. But even this new form of Bahamut couldn't stand up to the darkness that Xande was about to unleash. Emperor Xande had made a pact with the Cloud of Darkness, a demonic entity from a hellish realm. called the Void, and with her power, he unleashed legions of Void Scent upon Bahamut and Mericidia both. This was the final play, as the combined power of the Void and a new weapon called Omega defeated and captured Bahamut. They sealed the dragon away in a red sphere called Delamud, which was made to orbit the world as a second moon. While the Empire's campaign against Mericidia was a success, many Allagans saw only cruelty and insanity on full display. They knew that once the war was over, a new reign of terror was bound to begin, and that the Allagan people, while foolish, would be made to suffer. Many groups would put plans into place to safeguard the Empire's best interest should the worst come to pass. But eventually, a massive revolution to dethrone the Mad Emperor would occur. Xande would retreat to the Crystal Tower and attempt to use it to open a massive gate to the Void and allow the Cloud of Darkness itself to overrun the entire world. But Xande made a fatal error. Due to his actions, the world's ether was unstable, and his attempt to use the tower to such an end was the last straw. The very earth beneath the Crystal Tower shattered, and the monument sank beneath the ground, as earthquakes began to ravage everything the Empire had worked to build. These tremors spread across the world, and so began the fourth umbral calamity, the Calamity of Earth.
Another
giving
calamity.
A tragic end to the prosperous Allagan Empire. The only places spared this global destruction were flying structures, like that of Azizlar. But even so, their ruin was only delayed, as all the supplies, energy and reinforcements they once received from the land were now completely gone. Most people on these floating structures steadily began to die of starvation as they became trapped and isolated, or were eventually killed by their own monstrous creations, as they no longer had the means of keeping them contained indefinitely. But all was not lost. As stated previously, there were indeed groups that had gone out of their way to try and protect the people from the cruelty of Alag's first and last emperor, Xande. Princess Selena, one of the descendants of the original Xande, had survived the quakes, with a small group of people at her side. She wept at the countless lives that were lost to the calamity, but upon realizing what had happened to the Crystal Tower, she knew that Xande and Amon were likely still alive, and their madness wasn't over. Lacking the means to destroy the tower, she knew it was only a matter of time until it would surface again, releasing Xande upon an unsuspecting world. In her wisdom, Princess Selena knew that the Emperor's deal with the Cloud of Darkness was one of blood. So as long as someone with her heritage survived into the future, there would always be someone capable of commanding the Crystal Tower and banishing the malicious void scent that would devour the world.
Yes.
As such, she used what little Allagan technology had survived the quakes to her advantage, passing on the blessings and burdens of the Allagan royal bloodline to one of her dearest friends. A commoner in whom this power would be passed down from generation to generation without notice until the day it was needed to counter the newly emerged Crystal Tower. Eventually, this royal blood would survive into the modern age, becoming the responsibility of the Makote belonging to the G tribe. Any Makote in this tribe born with red eyes were marked as the ones who had inherited Princess Selena's legacy. But for all the preparations made, there was no going back. The earthquakes had claimed untold lives, and those that survived had next to nothing. The grief caused by such a tragedy eventually created hysteria, as the victims hopelessly looked for someone or something to blame for all of this destruction. Eventually, the blame was laid at the feet of their technology, progress, and even education itself. Many survivors regressed into an exceedingly primitive mindset, seeing any kind of technological development or higher learning as sinful and ruinous. This caused them to burn books, destroy what little Allagan technology survived the quakes, and willfully demolish buildings. This marked the beginning of the Fourth Astral Era, otherwise known as the Forgotten Age. The Fourth Astral Era created no end of crazed individuals and religious zealots who did everything in their power to crush higher learning. Even philosophers and scientists would be killed simply for knowing more than others. This war against knowledge would persist for an unknown amount of time, as no records detailing the fourth astral era
That's
were
why
ever
there's
created.
lots of gaps in
fact,
history.
This age and those people living
But
within
this
it
is like
are
a
the
regression
sole
then.
reason almost all knowledge about the first, second, and third eras have vanished from history.
Yeah.
We don't know what groups may or may not have existed during this time. The only thing we know for certain is that their hatred for reason and learning wouldn't save them from the elemental tragedy that was about to befall them.
Yes.
For about 1500 years, the fourth astral era would persist. But at the end of that time,
I'm surprised that there's been no mention
I
of
masses of the world.
yeah. There's been no mention
No
of the
one knows
Ascians
how, when,
as of yet. Are they not about it, or?
They are ish. We'll see. We'll see.
Because I feel like they would have been pulling strings from behind the scenes from like long before this, like around the first calamity.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Ready? I am at 2109.
2106.
Let me get back to 2106. Oh my god.
Also, not to mention that the Elegans founded the... Oh no, not the Elegans. The Ascians founded the Gallian Empire.
Yes.
So maybe they're coming up soon.
Yes, yes. All right.
Yeah.
Resuming from 2106 in 3, 2, 1, go.
Masses of the world. No one knows how, when, or why this calamity began, only that it spelled doom for many more peoples and cultures. The fifth umbral calamity, the calamity of ice, had begun to freeze the entire world. The only reason we know that it was indeed a calamity that had frozen the entire planet is because all tribes and cultures in the world began creating folk tales of endless blizzards and frozen rivers all at the same time. This calamity saw most crops fail, as they couldn't survive the harsh cold, leaving many to die of starvation if the freezing winds didn't claim their lives first. No amount of book burning or divine worship could save them, as this calamity had claimed just as many innocent people as the ones preceding it. Some tribes took advantage of the ice, migrating over places where even the ocean had frozen over, attempting to find a location where they could thrive despite the constant cold. These individuals would have seen massive mountains made entirely of ice floating across the ocean's surface as they traveled, with some of those gigantic glaciers even existing to this very day. Meanwhile, within Eorzea, it was around this time that a resplendent cathedral was built, the location of which would eventually become a massive forest that is now known as the Black Shroud. This church was built as a refuge, a place where people might gather to escape the harsh cold of the world and pray to deities known as the 12 gods for protection. It was in this church that magical spells and rituals would be created in an attempt to please the gods and beg for their aid. But eventually, whether by divine intervention or natural causes, the snow and the cold did relent, allowing the warmer locales of temperate and tropical regions to steadily return to normal over time. This breath of heat and relief would mark the beginning of the fifth astral era, which would later be known as the Age of Enlightenment. As the entire world once again became warmer and more vibrant, the people would become more eager to leave whatever locations they had used to hide from the cold. The people that hid themselves in or around the cathedral in Eorzea began to spread out across the continent of Aldenard once more, taking with them the teachings of their favored god, as well as the spells and rituals used to appease them. As they spread, these small groups of people would grow into various settlements, towns, and then cities as their cultures became more diverse. There would eventually be 12 city-states in total across Eorzea, each devoted to a different god of the 12's pantheon. However, as these city-states grew in size and strength, the differences with their neighbors became more apparent. This would create friction between the various countries, as things like territorial disputes became all too common. Small skirmishes would become localized wars as they began to fight for their gods and their claim to the land. Though as time progressed, these wars would die out, and peace would finally reign over Eorzea. After the dust settled, there stood 12 proud nations, each with their own patron god. But among these 12, only 3 would rise to prominence. These were Amdapor, located near central Aldenard, Nim, which occupied the entire island of Vilbrand, as well as most of Eorzea's western coast, and finally Mach, which found itself in the western basin of Yafim. With the borders of these countries now well defined, each city-state began to prosper in their own way, with many of them creating and developing their own forms of magic, thanks to the rituals they inherited from the worship of each of their 12 gods. The country considered to be the greatest of all city-states during this era was that of Amdapor. The leaders of this country were considered as generous and understanding as an older sibling, since Amdapor repeatedly did everything in its power to keep the peace and encourage the development of the smaller city-states surrounding it. Eventually, this civilization would become known as Ancient Amdapor, and it was believed that this country acted with wisdom and maturity well beyond its years. This focus on inward improvement made the Amdapuri excel at spellcraft, developing many magical means to not only improve their lives, but defend themselves as well. Instead of magical development, the country of Nim became more well known for its navy and commerce, as they became a center of trade within Eorzea. This earned it a good deal of geopolitical security, for to harm Nim would be to disturb supply chains that everyone benefited from. Moreover, Nim would eventually create the finest marines within Eorzea, making engaging them in naval warfare a death sentence. Between their command of the ocean and eagerness for trade, Nim more than earned its place as one of Aldenard's 3 superpowers during the 5th Astral Era. However, in the northwestern reaches of Eorzea, the smaller city-state of Mach would eventually develop something that fundamentally shifted the balance of power within the continent.
Yes.
Halfway through the 5th Astral Era, a powerful mage would be born and raised
Black
in the country of
mages.
Mach. Her name was Shetoto, a Lalafelin woman of great renown and prestige, who only ever had one goal in life: to test the boundaries of magic itself. To that end, she would inevitably weave the first ever incantations of a ruinous magic school. Shetoto had created black magic. The people of Mach immediately saw black magic for what it truly was: the most powerful school of magic ever developed in terms of raw destructive potential. It was so strong that almost no barrier could defend against it, and almost no healing spell could fully mend what damage was done. Shetoto had not a care in the world for what her country did with the spell school she crafted, as she was already researching new forms of magic. But the leadership of Mach took her research to heart, and through the teachings of black magic, the city-state of Mach had gained the most powerful standing military in all of Eorzea. However, as the old saying goes, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and the leadership of Mach steadily became all too eager to test their strength against their neighbors.
And to annex the neighbors.
With these new black mages at their disposal, the city-state of Mach began to launch campaigns against their neighboring countries, and such overwhelming force was there for all to witness. Many smaller civilizations had no means of countering these new potent forms of offensive spells, and became deeply fearful of being conquered. These aggressive actions did not go unnoticed by the people of Amdapor, who immediately knew that Mach and its black mages must be made to yield. The many years that Amdapor spent weaving spells for the betterment of all were not in vain, as the greatest mages among them would create the antithesis of black magic. Where the people of Mach would destroy, corrupt, and reduce, this new spell school would protect, purify, and mend. With great success, the archmages of Amdapor became the first ever white mages, and with this new spell school, they had the strength to stop the relentless assault of the black mages. This became the first magical war between these two countries within the first
War
Astral
of
Era.
Magi.
Mach was shocked to see that the white mages of Amdapor had become their perfect counter, stopping their country's expansion in its tracks. Match's leadership hesitated, ending their campaign against Eorzea. However, the end of this war had shifted the power on the continent. Where once there were 12 proud countries, only 6 remained, having either been conquered by Match or joined other city-states out of fear. But this fragile peace would only last a handful of centuries. The mages of Match had found and created another spell school in the form of void magic, allowing them to channel the corrupting powers of the void and command legions of void scent, much like the Allagan Empire did before them. Meanwhile, the country of Nim, in its desperate attempt to avoid conquest, created the magic school used by scholars in order to shield themselves from black magic. Amdapor, on the other hand, attempted to counter the use of void scent by weaving their white magic into creating armies of living stone, in the form of golems that would do their bidding.
The summoners and the
Tension was
scholars.
now at an all-time high. As such, no one knows what the actual catalyst for the coming conflict was, only that it sparked what would forever be known as the War of the Magi. This war lasted for many years, across multiple generations, and during this time, magic was at its peak. Many sorcerers and witches would engage in the greatest arcane duels in Hydaelyn's history, as demons from the void would collide with animated golems mid-air. Match and Amdapor both would gain and lose ground for decades, with the people of Nim being forced to abandon their country due to a plague placed upon them by the void scent of Match. However, over the course of the war, the near-constant use of magic by many thousands of mages had drained the ambient aether of Eorzea. Much like the excessive violence of Xande before them, the War of the Magi had caused the world to be thrown off balance, and as such, another calamity was soon to come. The conflict between the countries of Mark and Amdapor had lasted for generations, and with thousands of black and white mages abusing their power over hundreds of years, it was only a matter of time until the world itself could no longer keep up with their spells. Ether, the source of power for all magic, was steadily being drained from Eorzea, and eventually the tipping point was reached. The War of the Magi ended with no true victor, only a world gone mad, as billowing rain clouds formed overhead and the seas began to rise. The ceaseless conquest of the Maki had welcomed the 6th Umbral Calamity. But unlike the catastrophes that came before it, there were people who had been prepared for the coming ruin. While the 5th Astral Era was most well known for creating black and white magic, many other arcane disciplines had also been developed in that time, including spells belonging to the school of divination, which had warned many powerful mages of the coming calamity. The rituals revealed that the mild rain would eventually evolve into a torrential downpour that would swallow most of the world. As such, many individuals set plans into motion to save not only themselves, but as many people as they could. Most civilizations simply told their people they needed to get to higher ground, and by climbing up the sides of mountains, they would avoid the coming floods. Many mages from Mak and Amdapor began to shepherd their people into Eorzea's northern mountains. Known today as Abalathia's Spine, this massive mountain range saved countless lives as the calamity of water steadily became a force of nature. But Eorzea's mountains weren't the only refuge people sought from the deluge. The Void Mages of Mark built a vessel they called the Void Ark, which would carry many people into the sky and away from the waves. Even though this ark succeeded in carrying its passengers into the sky, it eventually became their tomb, as the many void scent that were powering the vessel broke free from their prisons and began slaughtering their masters. While the Void Ark was a disaster, there was another vessel that not only served its purpose, but became the foundation of an entire country. This ship was called Nunkrep's Hope.
What?
This vessel was captained by a powerful Rogadin mage, after whom the ship was named. He was one of the 12 Archons, a group of powerful men and women who spread out across the world to try and save as many people from the calamity as possible. Nunkrep
I remember seeing that ship atop a mountain
powerful spell to save his ship
in Stormblood.
Massive tidal wave. However, the spell also beached his vessel on the cliffs of Girabania, where it has remained to this day.
Yeah.
Eventually, the seas that had consumed most of the world and many civilizations began to calm, and the survivors watched as the waters began to recede. This would eventually mark the beginning of the 6th Astral Era, as the survivors of the calamity and its floods would watch the continent steadily return to its original state.
Makes sense now.
But this only marks the beginning of a tumultuous time. Those who lived to see tomorrow had already started to blame the abuse of magic for what had happened to the world. Libraries of ancient arcane arts that had survived the floods were torched, as many mages were persecuted and attacked. However, many of these mages still possessed tremendous power and could protect themselves. Labeled as witches and vile wizards, many spellcasters eventually left society on their own terms and lived out the rest of their lives in exile, but not all of them. As the survivors of the calamity began spreading out across Eorzea and regressing into primitive tribalistic factions, others chose different paths. The major events of this era began with the Rogadin noclip leading the survivors of his people down the cliffs of Girabania and towards Eorzea's western coast. He guided his people across the sea and toward an archipelago northwest of Eorzea, which they turned into their new home. Because noclip was a respected archmage, the people revered him for saving them. He and the survivors didn't shun magic like most of Eorzea. Fueled by the wonders of the arcane, their small village would grow into the prosperous, enlightened country of Old Sharlayan over the following centuries. While some countries around the world did survive the calamity, Old Sharlayan was the first major civilization to arise from Eorzea's ruin. Around the 3rd century, groups of Elezen that had settled near the center of Eorzea were slowly being displaced by large groups of Hyr that were steadily migrating throughout the continent and taking up more land. Many of these Elezen began to move north, into the region known as Kurthas. Here they established a village that would eventually grow into the country of Ishgard. A couple of decades after the Elezen had settled these lands, the great dragon Hrisvelga fell in love with an Elezen woman known as Saint Shiva. Their eventual union began an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity between mortals and dragons, as Ishgard thrived alongside their Dravanian allies. But this peace would only last a couple of hundred years, as the eventual ruler of Ishgard, King Thordan, grew fearful and envious of the dragon's power. In his madness, Thordan and his most trusted knights betrayed the great dragon Ratatoskr, stole their power, and lied to the Ishgardian claiming the dragon's attack first. This marks the beginning of the
Ishgardians that sparked the war.
Yeah, we found this out during post-Stormblood.
I always thought it was the dragons that started it.
Began to gather in Eorzea's southern Thanalan region. Here, the Lalafelin clans would set aside their differences and become a single people once more, creating the country of Beladir. At the same time, Eorzea's largest forest, the Black Shroud, had become the site of many disputes, as the Elezen were trying to keep the ever-expanding Hyr off what little territory they still had. But the elemental spirits of the Black Shroud were not kind to either the Elezen or the Hyr, leading to both races eventually reconciling their differences and creating the massive underground city known as Gilmora together, where they could shelter from the wrath of the enchanted forest, which could destroy them both if it so desired. In the late 800s,
Gilmora rings a bell,
but Rogadin began sailing south from the seas north of Eorzea. They were fleeing the tyranny of their country after a failed coup d'etat in their ancestral homeland of Ursland. In a large ship named the Galadian, they eventually made landfall on the island of Vilbrand. These displaced souls eventually founded a village that would steadily grow into the maritime city of Limsa Laminsa. These early settlers were offered help by the people of Old Sharlayan, which they promptly refused. The people of Beladir, however, were not so quick to spurn Sharlayan's aid. Since they shared an interest in magic, both countries agreed to an experiment that the Sharlayans proposed. This test resulted in the creation of aetherite crystals that linked Beladir and Old Sharlayan, creating the first cross-continental teleportation system in this era. This was a resounding success, and would eventually pave the way for aetherite crystals to be spread not only across Eorzea, but all three great continents, linking multiple countries through teleportation magic. This era of success and mutual cooperation ended when Beladia entered a brutal succession war in the late 900s.
Yes.
After the Sultan of Beladia had passed away, both of his sons fought with each other for the throne. They eventually created their own countries. One was called Sildi and the other Uldar. These city-states continued to war with each other for generations, and old Shalian wanted nothing to do with this war, choosing to disconnect the aetheryte they bestowed to Beladia until the fighting was over. By this time, Limsa Lominsa had devolved into a pirate den with no true law and order. But all this changed when a new sheriff came to town, named Admiral Agatsar. Agatsar forced all the greatest pirate crews to come together and reach an agreement that would serve as the foundation of their country's government. Because of Admiral Agatsar, Limsa Lominsa had the chance to become the respectable city-state it is seen as today. As time passed into the 1st century of the 6th Astral Era, things began to rapidly change for the Galmorans living within their stone city beneath the Black Shroud. A talented human mage named Jorin Lightheart used his spells to start a conversation with the elemental spirits of the forest. This failed at first, but eventually the elementals began to listen to him. Thanks to Jorin's integrity, the elementals agreed to let the Galmorans live within the forest instead of under it. While most Galmorans were thrilled at the idea of living above the earth, some saw this as a betrayal of their new culture. Not all Galmorans left their subterranean city, but the ones that did began to live alongside the elementals of the forest, allowing the city-state of Gridania to take its first breath. Jorin Lightheart eventually had a son, a boy born with special horns that indicated he was blessed by the elementals. Children blessed with these horns soon became the symbol of his station, and Jorin's son would become the first Padjal, a leader for Gridania and its people who bridged the connection between mortals and elementals. The following century was a time of great advancement for most cultures within Eorzea. In fact, it was in the mid-1100s that the continent's final country would emerge in Eorzea's northeast. Many clans of Hyr had lived within the mountains of Girabania since the end of the 6th Umbral Calamity, but they were never unified until a warlord named Anshelm Cotter forced all clans to submit to his rule. After his conquest, he had a citadel built next to a massive lake, which would become the capital city of a new city-state, Alamigo. From here, history starts to approach the modern age rapidly. Uldar eventually defeated Sildi, becoming the dominant power over Thanalan. Limsa Lominsa entered its golden age of piracy, but later became a hub for most of Eorzea's sea trade. Ishgard continued its war against the dragons. Gridania became a self-sufficient society, and Old Shalian reconnected with its neighbors, building a colony on Eorzea's western coast.
There it is.
Eorzea had entered into its time of relative peace, cooperation, and advancement. But as we approach the 1500s of the 6th Astral Era, we begin to see the end of this productive age. In the latter half of the 1400s, Alamigo's economy began to fail due to the rising success of sea trade created by Uldar and Limsa Lominsa. In an attempt to fix this, Alamigo began an unprovoked war with Gridania, which would become known as the Autumn War. However, because of Gridania's strong alliance
Ascians
with
and
Limsa Lominsa and Uldar,
Garleans any minute,
they
mate.
Eorzea
Right?
soundly
Any
defeated
minute now,
Alamigo,
right?
And their economy collapsed. This was only the beginning of Eorzea's new age of troubles. Not even a century later, the Empire of Garlemald had begun its conquest of the three great continents.
What?
Like the Black Mages of Mark in the 5th
Did it just
era
come out of
and
nowhere?
the Allagan Empire of the 3rd era, the Garleans now had their sights on ruling the world. Their conquest began with the continent of Ilsabard, and with the advent of magic,
We didn't see them develop.
they could defeat almost every opponent they came across
They're up
soundly.
north. Way up north.
In only a handful of decades, the Garlean Empire successfully conquered not only the whole of Ilsabard, but also the entire continent of Othard. This left only the continent of Aldenard, and by extension, the lands of Eorzea. The Garlean Empire began its campaign against Alamigo first, which was still recovering from its economic collapse, and a rebellion against its incredibly unpopular Mad Monarch, King Theodoric.
yeah.
Because of Alamigo's sudden
I
and
guess this
barbaric
is
attack during the Autumn War,
pretty
not a single
Shadowbringers,
city-state
so
within Eorzea helped them fight
they didn't
Bahamut.
know that
Alamigo swiftly fell,
Garlemald
leaving
was
Gridania,
created by
Ul'dah, Ishgard,
Ascians.
and Limsa Lominsa to fight this new threat alone. Not even the Sharlayans in their western colony would help, with most of them fleeing back to their homeland. Some Sharlayans saw the immediate withdrawal from Eorzea as cowardice. So instead of abandoning their neighbors to the Garlean invasion, these scholars rallied behind a wise and powerful Archon named Louisoix le Veilleur. Louisoix and other Sharlayans assisted in helping the city-states of Eorzea push back the Garlean Empire. But regardless of their efforts, the second half of the 1500s marked the end of the 6th Astral Era. Dubbed Project Meteor, a leader of the invasion, known as the White Raven, used ancient technology to cool down Dalamud, the artificial moon the ancient Alagans used to contain the elder primal Bahamut. Most Garleans had no idea they were releasing an old evil upon the world. As Bahamut was broken free of his prison, his rampage threatened to destroy everything, resulting in the beginning of the 7th Umbral Calamity. But this time something was different. Louisoix le Veilleur had made many preparations to deal with Bahamut, and used powerful magics to try and seal the primal away once more. Unfortunately, the dragon had become too powerful, and was prepared to unleash an attack that would glass the entirety of Eorzea.
This is what happens if you bring a dangerous creature from Australia to the rest of
Louisoix made a sacrifice, taking all that magic into himself alongside Eorzea's prayers to rise from Bahamut's ruin. In doing so, he became the primal known as Phoenix, slaying Bahamut in a single strike and ending the 7th Umbral Calamity.
He became a primal? I didn't know this.
You knew this. You got
the 7th Umbral Calamity was the shortest era in Eorzea's history, and it was all thanks to Louisoix and the help of his many allies.
You got to mount,
if
so you should know.
Hadn't been slain, his rage would have been felt across the entire world.
I didn't know that was Louisoix.
Another has the chance to begin.
That's
5 years after Bahamut's defeat, a warrior of light will rise, and a new story will be told. This marks the end of our video covering the Astral and Umbral eras up until the modern day of Final Fantasy XIV's campaign. We hope you enjoyed this series, and that it helps you in your journey across the world of Hydaelyn. We plan to cover the battles of many other fantasy, sci-fi, and space opera universes, so make sure you have subscribed and pressed
of course, the subscribers.
Please consider liking and sharing, as it helps.
Research the subscribe. Yes, of course.
We'll try to read and respond to
this documentary should be like required before playing A Realm Reborn.
This is the Wizards and Warriors channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.
There's a whole lot of lore here, man.
Yes. I mean, I've heard more from a book, so.
Oh, really?
Books tell you like the I think that the Garleans at first, during the Age of Ice, they were pushed up, but because they discovered ceruleum, they lived on, using that as a fuel.
Right.
So they were up there for quite a bit. And of course they couldn't use magic, so they were pushed away by those who could. And then some emperor came along and created an empire.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He has a name though. What's his name?
Yes, so I mean that is the
Solace. Oh, no. That's his name.
Yeah. So what did you think of those? What did you think? What have you learned?
That was pretty informative. I learned a lot.
Yep, but Bahamut was an ancient creature from Australia. I mean, Melcidia.
Mirror City, I think.
Yeah, Mirror City.
Isn't it?
You know,
yeah, that was very interesting.
The Shaolin is old. There's why that is abandoned places. Shaolin has been abandoned. Yeah. There's a lot of lore.
Oh yeah.
But there's also a lot of
Definitely.
local lore too. I know that like in Hingashi, they had their own civil war. And now it's under the Bakamatsu, I believe. Which
Really?
is in Hingashi. And foreigners are only allowed in Kogane.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's foreigners only allowed. Foreigners are not allowed in the rest of Hingashi.
True.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. It's like, oh no. I want to see that, rest of the country.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
I want to explore.
Yeah. But there's I can't say much because there's more to see and more to do. More about dragons than you realize, but I can't tell you until.
Oh.
Yeah.
More about dragons.
But I can't tell you.
Of course, but I am intrigued.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised he didn't know that Ishgard initiated the backstab to Dragon.
No, I thought that come from the dragon side.
No, but no. I told you the post-patch Heavensward at the end when we're trying to stop the war and all that stuff. Literally had like a cutscene of a betrayal.
Really?
Yeah. Killed one of the dragons for its eyes. Where did the eyes come from? Yeah, there was a cutscene of Ishgardians, literally slaying a dragon and cutting its eyes out. Well, not really cutting its eyes out, but, the aftermath.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember that.
So, yeah.
And this happened before Realm Reborn, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it was like a memory that we could see because of the echo.
You could say that.
Right. Right. Anyhow.
Yeah.
What should we do now?
Well, that's why I was asking, like, if there's anything that you're confused of and all that stuff. But it's like, well, might as well play this general one and then you see, it's like, oh, wait, you discovered more.
Yeah.
So it clarifies a few things.
Oh, definitely. I learned a lot, especially about the Elegant Empire. what they were like and the things they did during their time. And like how exactly things played out.
Yep. I just like how the origins of like the other jobs of magic.
Oh yeah.
Literally because of, oh no, we don't really killed, we'll make our own magic, and there's a new job, and that's why we have scholars and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So I mean. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a bit. There is a bit. I also have the encyclopedias as well of Eorzea. So there's that. But yeah. I do have. I'm thinking like, what's okay. I'm up in game myself personally, and it's like even watching this, it's like, what's gonna happen next? What's any loophole? There's any holes in this that I feel like it's gonna be resolved in any future content?
Right.
I'm at that game theory. Current in-game game theory. Zaf is still in what the heck's gonna happen next?
I mean, we're like a bottle of Coke with a Mentos in it, with the lid still on.
Well, at the moment, Zaf, you do know where we... I mean, I'm just wondering if you remember what, our MSQ, whereabouts are we?
Yeah. Right at that cutscene.
Emmett Selk has stolen our friend, shot him in the back, and we have become light burdened. So
we're basically senators now.
Ish. We are what we have eaten. So. But okay. Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean... There's a lot for me to think about, but I'm afraid I can't share them.
Of course.
I mean, not maybe on, I don't know, mostly Saturday mornings. Maybe I could share it then. I mean, Saturday when we first start.
Yeah.
Because I do have my own theories, like, it's like, I have to check on the origins of Xander and all that stuff. What we know about what. About what, and if what could be involved with what. Doesn't make sense for Zaf, but
yeah.
So any case, we finished watching those two. Is there anything else? Do you want to swap to play something or anything like that, or?
Yeah. Let's. Well, we got just a little over an hour left.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait. No, is it? No. We got 8 minutes left. Wait, what the fuck?
Wait. Well, it's.
That was 4 hours. Oh, no, sorry. We got 2 hours left because we started at 12.
Yes, we started at 12.
We got a little over 2 hours left.
Yeah, so we still got a bit. We still got a bit. I say that we... What do you think? What do you think we should do?
Why don't we play a puzzle game we haven't touched in like over 2 years?
In 2 years. 2 years?
Yeah. It's been 2 years. Oh, over 2 years. 2 years and maybe like 2 or 3 months. Because it was August. Yeah.
Huh. Oh, jeez. Wait, you're not talking about...
Yes.
Superliminal.
Yeah. Puzzle game where perspective matters.
Okay. Okay, hang on. So how are we going to do this? Are we going to start a new stream? Are we going to just go...
Yeah, we should. I think we should split the stream. Just for the sake of the VOD, I think.
Okay. No, of course I will give us time
the
to...
YouTube
Yeah, and of course...
side.
Yeah, yeah. And then it will give us, time to, fresh up or grab something to eat and whatever, or, I need to... I need to get something... I need to get drinks in, so... Yeah, I need to do that.
Order some, or... You have some handy.
I mean, it's gonna take me at least half an hour to go out and grab something from the road and all that stuff,
Oh, that long?
I mean, I only have to walk like... It's like 10 minutes each way, almost. So it's like... Yeah, if it's 10 minutes each way, then yeah, it's 20 minutes at least. But maybe I won't do that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so okay, shall we just end here and then we shall be back in, well, maybe about 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes, you say?
Yeah. We'll just start it. Yeah.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Sounds good to me.
Maybe 15 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah. It just depends on how long we can get it all set up.
It shouldn't take too long, I think.
But yeah, of course, please watch those videos down there, and they have more interesting ones too. Man, I've got lost in their Lord of the Rings lore videos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is. I like videos like these because it shows you on a map and shows you in context. That stuff. So it's like, that's where it is. Okay, that's yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, maps help a bit. Yes, so maybe yeah, I'll decide what to get. Any case, so should we raid or should we just end it here and then we'll
No, we'll just end it here since we're coming back shortly.
Okay, we'll be back in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. maybe not near as 20 minutes, so between 10 and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And thanks for watching with us on this learning experience on, the stuff about Final Fantasy XIV's launch and its lore.
Indeed.
Okay, so that is all for me, Manteum.
That is all from me, Zaf.
And we'll catch you next time in 20 minutes or ish, 10 minute 15.
Yeah.
From Halbert
and Rifle.
Farewell.